driving thinking. Last night I had a lesson with a young lady who has a very, very, very sensitive horse, yet the horse does not let you know that. She's sensitive, and then she's quietly emotional about it. And some of the things that we've found in just some subtleties is the loudness of the energy of the owner. And it's not, the owner's not loud, like there's nothing like abrupt about how the owner handles the horse or anything like that. It's, believe it or not, it's just, it's like a, I always describe it as kind of like a shaken bottle of soda. There's just an energy within the human that projects something to the horse. And if there's a way we can kind of fizz out the cap a little bit and take some of the carbonation out, sometimes the horse relaxes. This horse overall appears very relaxed. Overall, she appears very kind of content with the world. However, her feedback for certain response, like certain requests, like if you ask her to do something, for example, yesterday and the last time we worked with her, we were working on the canter, and I had done actually a thing about cantering in horses that are afraid of the canter. So this horse, I don't think she's afraid of the canter itself. She's afraid of the cue that brings her up into the canter. So I had noticed that she was getting extremely emotional and fast and kind of strong, and was arching her neck a little bit, and you know, giving off the impression that she was going to have a little bit of a blow up if we didn't figure this out. And I wanted to figure it out for her. I wanted to figure it out for the owner, of course, but I wanted to figure it out for the horse. And I had noticed, like I had changed how the rider was sitting, and I would walk her through before we would start the steps that she needed to have her focus on, which is kind of funny. I'll talk about something else that happened as a result of that, but changed kind of the way she gets out of the horse's way instead of in the horse's way when asking the horse to pick up the canter. So I changed that, and we had some improvement, but there was just something still off. The horse was still being a little too reactive to the request of coming into a canter. She definitely understood she was being asked to canter, but it was like it startled her to get that cue. And what I had noticed was the owner changed her position, so that was good. The owner got out of the horse's way, that was good. The only thing that she did do that was different than what we had discussed was she gave the horse a canter cue, verbal canter cue, which was a kiss. I use kisses, but in this particular case, I could tell that that was what triggered the emotion. So the next time around, I said, okay, do everything exactly the same, get out of her way, sit on your pocket, and now let's eliminate the kiss, and let's see if that makes the difference. And I said, I think it's kind of scaring her. So we eliminated the kiss, and in an instant, we had a beautiful canter departure. Beautiful, confident canter. The horse had her head down instead of arched at the pole, and she had, you know, you could tell that she cantered confidently, like she had taken up the canter in a beautiful transition and cantered with great deal of confidence. We broke her back down to the jog, because also what happens a lot of times when horses are emotional in the canter is that they'll run out, they'll kind of fall out of the canter, and it's pretty sloppy and it's pretty off balance for the horse. So we worked on bringing her down to a jog. Now, I do a lot of thought work, meaning I want the owner or the rider or whatever to visualize what they're asking for. Visualize it. So if you want the horse to canter, visualize and almost try to feel the energy involved in the canter. If you're asking the horse to come to a quieter downward transition, I want you to imagine what that feels like to trot. Imagine how your body would feel riding a jog, a nice, slow, almost a walk kind of jog. And then project that feeling to your horse. Imagine it, feel it. And you'd be surprised how easy it is to work with that kind of angle, because we got this horse to come down out of the canter, who normally would fall out of the canter in kind of a, scrambly run, to coming out of the canter, having maybe one stride of scramble, and then instantly was like, oh wait, this feels better. Like, knew the energy felt better. We worked on the canter trot transitions in the one direction, and then she has a harder time, so we worked on her good side. That's another thing. If you pick your horse's good side, if your horse really consistently picks up the canter on the right lead, then you start any kind of work like this on the right lead. If your horse consistently picks up the canter on the left lead, you're going to want to start with this on the left lead. You want to do their easy side first while you educate them, set them up to succeed, and then you work on something that they struggle, even if it's the same task. Now you have to work with the handicap of their struggle. You don't want to work with the handicap of their struggle and trying to teach them something at the same time. So that's why I always start with their easy side. And then we switch to her hard side. Same thing. Set yourself up, sit on the outside pocket, give her room in her front left shoulder. Let's go ahead and see if we can ask her for the canter without the kiss. Immediately the horse picked up the correct canter lead, and did so with a very smooth, very confident transition. Again, we worked on the trot, coming down into a jog instead of falling out of the canter, and she totally understood. The funny thing that happened was, as I was verbally walking the owner through how she should be sitting and then getting out of the horse's way and that kind of thing, as I was walking her through that, it's hot in here, she physically, not only was mentally like walking through the steps, but she was physically practicing it in her body. Well, in that practice, she gave the horse the cues. So but yet the horse wasn't getting all of it, so she was getting herself kind of revved up. And I said to the owner, I said, you were practicing it as I was saying it. And she goes, yeah. I said, well, that's why she got upset. Because sometimes we don't realize as we're thinking it, we're still giving the horse that thought process. We're still giving them those energies to pick up on. And so it was kind of funny to see how sensitive this horse really was, is that as she was thinking it and just kind of shifting her weight to kind of practice how she wants to feel in the saddle, the horse was starting to get ready and nervous because it didn't all make sense, because she wasn't giving her all the cues that the horse recognized. I got a lovely text message from her when she got home, and it was expressing how she thought it was really neat that we can communicate to horses this way. And I'm always thrilled to get positive feedback like that, because as far as I'm concerned, you're leaving your horse with the thought today that we had a good conversation, and that's the best way to leave your horse all the time. And I'm so thrilled that we're able to spend time with people who want to see changes in their horse and want to be open to the idea that we can do it with thoughts more than with mechanics, and we can do it with understanding and patience, and take away all the mechanics and have an actual conversation with the horse that the horse understands and can very easily cooperate and be a part of, and joyfully be a part of. We left this horse, it's funny, I always say horses yawn when you've worked their brain. I'm like, oh, we worked her brain. And I said, they'll probably yawn. Like, in her case, she started to yawn. And I'm like, she'll probably yawn about 100 times. And sometimes people think it's a horse expressing boredom. Sometimes people think it's a horse being tired. It's actually because we got in their brain and we started working some gears that they don't always work. It just kind of, we got them thinking. And when you can get them thinking, the best feedback you can have is when they're choosing the yawn letdown. It really, really lets you know that you were in there, you were tinkering around in their brain, and they were really getting something out of it, and that's where the yawns come from. If your horse yawns a lot when you work on something really difficult, that means that you got in there. Hopefully it was a positive experience.